Hey, what's up? What's up? All right, guys. So I was sharing it. Sorry, it took a little bit. So our vice president here decided to, let's see what he has to say. Where is everybody? I swear I'm being shadow banned like crazy. I even shared this on Twitter. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start so people that watch the replay can
This caravan was organized by leftist groups in Honduras.
Oh, really?
Financed in part by Venezuela. That all according to the president of Honduras, who told
the Honduran president.
Venezuela has any money?
Oh, well, if the Honduran president said so, it must be stinking true, because Honduras, they're not corrupt at all. At all. Wait, hold on. Honduras corruption. Well, I could give you a quick story while I'm going through this stuff. I have many friends from Honduras, and they have all been kidnapped, or they have been, their family members have been murdered because of the corruption and what goes on over there. But yes, since that, well, let's just go with some facts. How about we do that, Mr. Pence? Since we already showed that Soros paid for that, I'm not going to re-show that to y'all. And now we know that even Beto O'Rourke is also funding the caravan. Well, that's sweet of him, right? Beto O'Rourke for Texas. What a fool. Anyway, so Venezuela, they're terrible, right? How about we look at the facts, okay? People want to say that Venezuela is a shithole country. It is a dictatorship. It's socialism. Well, let's check that out and see if we've got some facts on that. Oh, y'all, hey, so doing this, it messes with the AI, and also being sarcastic messes with the AI, so that's why I'm doing that. All right, so seriously, okay, how many of y'all, I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, we used to have to where federal laws weren't the top. They weren't the most important, okay? So like your county laws, like whatever your sheriff or whatever your state laws were the most important, okay? And that was called small government. That's what we want, right? We want more limited government. They need to stop all this nonsense. But yet we have federal laws. Let's use marijuana for just an example. Marijuana. Okay, Colorado has it legalized, and California and whatnot. But yet, technically, you can still be arrested for it because federal laws supersede your state laws. That's here in America. Well, let's see what's going on in Mr. Maduro's dictatorship over here. This big dictator here. He's calling for the devolution of state power. Wow. So that's exactly what I just said. So he's trying to give the rights to the counties, or whatever they call them down there, the towns. Your town laws would be responsible. It wouldn't be at a federal level. That's a strange thing for such a dictator to do. I swear dictators like to just rule over everybody and kill whoever they want to. Places like Saudi Arabia and those type of places. But no, apparently a dictatorship and socialist means that they're going to give the power to the states? Well, God, that's really confusing. Heck. Well, let's see how much more of a dictator socialist this place is. This place is a shithole, right? Well, wow. So what they do with their oil money, so, you know, we drill for oil, they drill for oil. Do y'all ever see any of that oil money? Nope, nope. But the big oil, they do get a lot of sanctions. I mean, not sanctions, I'm sorry. They get a lot of corporate subsidies, okay? So not only are they rolling in the cash, They are being paid by our tax dollars to roll cash. But yet here in Venezuela, what they do with their oil money, so this is how it works. Like if somebody finds oil on your property, Chevron or somebody, you might be approached by a geologist and they're going to say, hey, we think there's oil in your land. Can we do some test drills? Okay. And so if they find oil, they're going to split the profits with you. Okay. Well, whenever it's on government land or other places like that, you think that they would split it with the government. Well, that's what they do in Venezuela. And so what they do with that money is, well, oh, that's the wrong one. That's another thing that's pretty awesome. What they do is they give away, not give away, but essentially give away homes to the people of their country. And they don't just give it to them. I mean, they have, this was one of their first ones, their first complexes. They have now almost hit 2 million homes that they have used their oil money to give people. I think they have like a mortgage, but it's very small, okay? And it's essentially, I'm not saying it's free, but it kind of is free because it's their country. You remember, you know our song that this land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York, something, whatever. Well, it's not. It's not. We've been screwed. But over there, that should be their song. Because it really is. Whatever their land is, they share it with the rest of the people. We find oil. Well, yeah, big oil lobbyists aren't going to go build their $1 million castles while their workers are living in shacks. They give their, and I'm not saying Venezuela is not impoverished because we've sanctioned them to some terribleness. But these are some neighborhoods in Venezuela. Yeah, it's so terrible there. It actually looks like Hawaii down here. That looks like Hawaii. Can't barely see it. Yeah, my singing's great, right? So yeah, that's what evil dictators do. They use the profits rather than funneling it into some offshore account like our government does, and how we're like, oh, $21 trillion went missing from the Pentagon. Well, I don't know where it went. Who knows? That's what happens here in America. But yet over there, it's like, hey, we're gonna do some great things. And not only that, they've given out almost 5 million computers to education. They are one of the highest literacy rates. It's something like 96.4% in literacy in Venezuela. They're really big on education, okay? But yet they're going to show you this American migrant crisis, Colombia, Brazil. Okay, let's go over this picture and not use that to sway you. Let's look at the actual picture, okay? Why would somebody be migrating with toilet paper? They all seem to have toilet paper. That sure is a strange thing to be migrating with. Not clothes, but toilet paper. Well, that's easy. That's because the people in Colombia, they raid the ships when they come into port, or when they get to the stores, and they buy up all of the paper products and all of certain items, take it to Colombia, and then the Venezuelans have to go over to Colombia, pay 1,200 times the amount. And this is just a few items. They want to act like all the store shelves are empty. It's only a few items, but they're necessary items, right? It's toilet papers, meds, and all of these things. And so that's what's going on. These people are not moving. They go over there because they have to go buy the stuff that was supposed to be in their Venezuelan grocery stores, but they have to get it over there. But, of course, Breitbart wants to tell you something else, as well as all of the other mainstream. Okay, well, let's see. So Venezuela housing mission delivers nearly 2 million homes to needy families. Wow, that's a really nice dictator. Whew. Dictators. I must have missed that part when I looked into dictator definitions. In spite of external pressures, and this is still going on. They're still building these homes right now. They're almost to the 2 million mark. Anyway, so in spite of the Bolivarian Revolution, the Great Housing... Anyway, so the Great Housing Mission. So it was Chavez actually is the one that started it before he was murdered died of cancer. I didn't mean, yeah. Anyway, so that's what socialism is. So this is the thing. Socialism is a scary word here in America. Where it's like, oh my gosh, it's going to be people just sitting up waiting for the government to hand them stuff. That's not what socialism means down there. And it really isn't what it technically is supposed to mean. What it means is your government is going to screw you over, and they're going to help you with things like, hey, we're making a butt ton of money with our oil reserves. How about we share that among the people of the country rather than these billionaires that couldn't spend the money that they have in a lifetime? I think most people would agree with that. I mean, I'm middle class, and I still agree with that. I'm conservative, but I still agree with that. Why in the world, you know, people think we have a free and open society, free and open, what's it called? Help me out here. Free market. We do not have a free market. Look at Google. Look at these big tech companies. Look at Walmart. Look at Amazon. If it was a free open market society, they wouldn't be able to get corporate subsidies. They're getting the welfare. If you haven't watched my corporate welfare video, it's a really good one because it shows who's really on welfare. Because it's funny how they want to call these people socialist when really, no, they're not the socialist. Our corporations are socialist. But we're going to be buddies with Brazil. What's going on in Brazil? Okay, 61,819 murders on average, 198 murders per day, giving a homicide rate of 29.9 per 100,000 people. Well, that's good. And we're also good buds with Colombia. And I just pretty much have to say the word and everybody knows what Colombia is for. So did I already go over the oil exports? No, I didn't, did I? Okay, let's check out what the heck's going on with our oil. So the top oil exporters is Saudi Arabia, US, Russia, Iraq, Canada, and then Venezuela's down here 12th. United States is 13th. But technically, Saudi Arabia and U.S. is essentially the same because apparently we're at the top now of exporting. Well, that's interesting. That is quite interesting because we're also very close to the top on imports. Can somebody explain to me why, if I had 2 apples and Dan had 2 apples, Dan, where do you live? I don't know. Let's say Dan lives, I forget where Dan lives. But let's say Dan lives in New York. He doesn't. But, and I want I'm going to trade my 2 apples with Dan in New York. We're going to both pay postage and shipping and send our apples to each other. What the hell? Does that even make sense? How are we the top importers and exporters? That makes absolutely no sense. It seems like I've talked about that. LNG, yeah, LNG is actually here in my town. So it's kind of, you know, it kind of pisses some of my friends and family off that I talk about this stuff. Because everybody I know essentially works in the oil and gas industry. But, you know, let's be real. It doesn't matter. Because while they're making billions and trillions of dollars, even though, yeah, the people that work in the oil and gas industry get paid good money, what they would be really getting paid if they weren't, you know, I'm not going to go into that. But let's look at the countries with the largest displacement related to conflict and violence, meaning the refugees. Well, that would be Colombia and Nigeria. Well, that is interesting. That is quite interesting. Colombia? But Colombia, they're our buds, right? We're giving them $324 million a year in foreign aid, along with Israel, 3.1 billion. Like Afghanistan, Uganda, all of these wonderful places. I feel like I've done this already. Did I already talk about this? I did a video that I was gonna just upload the video, but then I was like, no, I'll just go live. And so now I feel like I've already talked about this stuff and I can't remember if I've actually talked about it yet. I probably shouldn't have done that. Anyway, so yeah, I did go over Sharia law, didn't I? Sharia law, that's what Nigeria is all about. And many of us know what's going on in Israel with their apartheid occupational situation in Gaza, where they torture and have dug up graves and they kill children, babies, medics, all because they think that that's their land. But those are the people that we support. But yet we're going to sanction a country like Venezuela who saved our asses in World War II. Let's look at how terrible, since now now people are still saying Chavez, oh, he was terrible, right? Let's look at this chart here. This is Chavez. Wow, it declined. So this is the inflation rate compared to their oil revenue, okay? So if you just looked at this, heck yeah, it would look like Maduro really screwed them, right? But see, that would be causation correlation. Because you can't just say that one factor contributed to the downfall of something. I found a funny causation correlation. Let's look at this one. Ice cream sales and shark attacks. So both ice cream sales and shark attacks increase when the weather is hot and sunny, but they are not caused by each other. They are caused by good weather and lots of people at the beach, both eating ice cream and having swim. So when people are saying that, oh, you know, Maduro is the reason for this collapse, well, no, that's absolutely false. What it is we stopped our oil export ban, which we were going to keep our oil here in the States like we did for the last 40 years. But instead we flooded the market with oil and said, screw you, Venezuela, and cratered their oil price, okay? So by doing that, even though they're still, I mean, they are still alive and kicking, they are fighting this. And I don't think that our administration thought that this would happen. And what y'all should be really thinking about is, why in the world is Trump continuing sanctions that Obama put into place. Does that not bother any of y'all? Doesn't that make it look like they are both on the same agenda? Because wouldn't it just have been easy just to say, we're not going to sanction these people? For what? For what? I mean, what they did, they have done nothing. No country is perfect, okay? And I'm not trying to say that. But my point is, when you look at what really went on in history, rather than just what the oh, I didn't show y'all this. I'm going to show y'all what the DuckDuckGo versus, okay, so in DuckDuckGo, Colombian refugees to Venezuela, 2013. And so I get some really good results. Colombia, Santos grants 440,000 people to come to Venezuela. Gave them all refugee status because of the drug wars that were going on. But look at this. I put the same exact thing in here. But look, I put 2013 in both of the searches. And these are the results I get. Inside Colombia and Venezuela's border refugee crisis. And then, bam, right off the bat, it goes to 2018. They refuse to show you, in Google, they're going to refuse to show you the truth, which is Venezuela allowing 5 million refugees, or 6 million refugees, into Venezuela, giving them free health care, free gas, all of these things, okay? That's where the truth is. And you can tell when Google is trying to, you could tell that it's an agenda whenever they do stuff like that. So they allowed 5 million Colombians to live in Venezuela. But yet now they're saying that Venezuelans are leaving there by the millions. Well, are they? Or are they just going back home? You see what I'm saying? Like, because this was back in the early, like 2003 to 2000, maybe late 90s, all the way up to about 2013, 2014. Okay? But they don't want to tell you that. They don't want to tell you how from 1989 to 1998, the average inflation was 47.8, but then when Chavez got into power, which Maduro does the same stuff that Chavez does, it dropped to 27%. And then unemployment, 10.6 to 5.5. Extreme poverty, 2.8 to 5.4. Social spending per GDP went up from 11.3 to 19.2. Pension recipients, look how huge this is. 387,000 to almost 3 million people getting their pensions. Access to university, holy freaking crap, went 47.7 to 71.6%. So are they really socialist? Are they just looking out for their people? There's a big freaking difference. People think that socialism is just some kind of handout. Well, that's not what it is in Venezuela. But this goes up to 2014. Why? Because I explained that already. We screwed them with their oil. We didn't want to... I mean, couldn't we have just cratered Saudi Arabia's oil? Oh, heaven forbid we make enemies with Saudi Arabia because they're such a moral country. Are you kidding me? It makes no sense to me. Venezuelans are a lot closer to the type of people, and I hate to even like try to say it that way, but besides for their language, they are a lot closer to what Americans are like, you know? farming, just well, I guess especially like Southern people, you know, they're mainly Christian. They're a lot like conservatives, you know, like that's what I just don't understand, how people are falling for this. I hear it every other day. Oh, you're gonna end up like Venezuela. Oh, you're gonna end up like Venezuela. And I'm just like, even intelligent people that I watch, like Red Elephant, hey, what's up, dude? Vince, you need to do some research, buddy. I mean, he pulls out statistics like there's nobody else's business, but when it comes to Venezuela, it's like he has a blind side. Or Sticks and Hammer, I mean, he does the same thing. I mean, everybody just says Venezuela, Venezuela, Ben Shapiro, Venezuela. And now Mike Pence, I mean, that's just embarrassing for the vice president to say such a ridiculous thing that is absolutely false, when we know for a fact we tied Skylight to George Soros. And then the Beto O'Rourke campaign people admitted that they were funding parts of it too. Like, so he just straight up lied. There's some nice comments down here from me. And then people going back and forth at me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, do some research. They're like, I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. I'm like, you people are like straight up sleeping. That's all you're doing. You're just sleeping. You have no idea. It's just because, and that's what somebody else, a girl wrote down here, because she's from Indiana, where Pence is from. And she's like, okay, I'm Republican, but y'all really need to research this. And this guy went the hell off on her, calling her a child molester and all this stuff. He's like, you're a Democrat child molester. I'm like, dude, you are no better than a liberal social justice warrior type to say that to somebody just because of her comment. All she said was, y'all need to research him. And he just went off on her, and he did it like 3 or 4 times. Like, he's like, you're not a Republican, you're a stupid the C word, and I hate that word. Anyway, I know, I'm rambling, but I'm just so tired of hearing every other 5 seconds people say Venezuela. And it's not okay that we're doing this to all these countries, especially now that, I'm just being real, y'all. Venezuela now has Russia and China having their back. That'd be real stupid of us. Real freaking stupid of us to even do it to them. But the Catholic Mother Mary won't help. Years did the false idol save her son. What? I wish we'd support. I know, exactly. Like, most people in general, they do believe in a socialist mindset. It's just the word socialist freaks them out. Because think about, if you're a prepper, or if you think about preppers and whatnot, if you like think about being a prepper, prepping is essentially socialism. You know, you've got your people that know how to garden, you've got your security people, you're all working together. That's what humanity is. It's not about sitting up on your couch and eating ding-dongs and Twinkies and trying to wait for a government check. That is not what this is. And that's what, honestly, I didn't know either until I started looking into it. But so many people are so just, they cannot admit they're wrong. I think that's what it is. They just cannot admit they're wrong, and they would rather, oh yeah, oh, this is awesome. You know, they took all this land back from like Chiquita Banana and all these big companies that came and bought up all this land and wouldn't allow them to farm it. And Hugo Chavez kicked their asses out. He's like, no, not happening. And see, they want to call that a dictatorship, but they don't tell you the whole story. They just act like he took this land from people. They refuse to sell it back to him. He's like, no, you know, like the big agri companies from the U.S., went down there and just bought up a whole bunch of land. And so these small farmers didn't have land that they could farm. And so Chavez was like, nope, it's, you know, let me buy it back. And they're like, nope. And he's like, okay, get the hell out of our country. Well, yeah, if you just hear the part where it's get the hell out of my country, well, it sounds pretty dictatorship. But when you see what's going on here, how Walmart comes and buys up all these places and then just ups and leaves after 6 months, I mean, are y'all starting to see it now? Y'all share this and thumbs up. There's so many, just people just are not thinking with their brains, and they're thinking with emotion, and it just makes no sense. And not admitting when they're wrong. They're like, oh nope, I'm gonna stick with this story until we just blow them up into pieces. Y'all realize how beautiful Venezuela is? It's beautiful. It's like Hawaii. Anyway, I'll get off now. But Florida. Okay, let me read through the comments real fast. Yeah, DuckDuckGo does not use use trackers, and it's completely just I mean, completely different, you know, results. And I've done it with a lot of things. Oh gosh, whatever. With the DuckDuckGo, and it's so obvious how Google just manipulates the results. It's so crazy. But that's what we're having to deal with. It's more than just censorship of us. It's censorship of knowledge, of history. It's essentially burning. You know, that's what they're doing. They're trying to wipe away everything. But anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. Thank y'all for hopping on. And of course, all links are in my description. Donations are always welcome. I only have like 8 Patreons, y'all. If they start taking it down, y'all come join my Patreon. I'll put that link in the pinned comments and everything. And I have other accounts, my BitChute. I try to upload there. But anyway, I'll stop rambling. Y'all have a great day. Bye, guys. Thank you.